Welcome back to Ecclesiastes Bible Study. We're in week 7 and it's going to be a good one. If you've missed the first 6, they're up on the channel. Go ahead and study right now. I got to tell you that I'm having a wonderful time doing this study. I'm learning a lot, and a lot is just clicking with me and where I'm at in my life. So for this week, we've got chapter 7. This is a very, very long chapter, so I'm going to kind of just bullet my way through, so if it seems like I'm going too quickly, there's just so much information to cover, and I took great notes. So the good thing is you can go back and back it up if you missed anything. Again, sorry for the fast pace on this video. There's just a lot to cover, and I just want to make sure that I do it in a timely manner. So we're going to start off by praying. Lord, thank you so much for this space. Please use me as a vessel to give everybody who's listening and watching this video perspective and give them clear vision and let them hear what you need them to hear in this week's Bible study. Thank you again. Thank you for being so perfect and holy, and thank you for creating us. Thank you that we are your children. How great is it that we are your children? Thank you for your grace and your mercy. In your name, Jesus, we pray, amen. So I've got my Bible, the New Revised Standard Version, updated edition. I've got the Amplified Bible here for further clarification, and I also have my notes. No study Bible today because they didn't really have much information for this chapter. All right, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Chapter 7. I'll read and then we'll break everything down. Verse 1. A good name is better than precious ointment in the day of death than the day of birth. It is better to go to the house of mourning than to go to the house of feasting, for this is the end of everyone, and the living will lay it to heart. Sorrow is better than laughter, for by sadness of countenance the heart is made glad. The heart of the wise is in the house of mourning, but the heart of fools is in the house of mirth. It is better to hear the rebuke of the wise than to hear the song of fools. For like the cackling of thorns under a pot, so is the laughter of fools. This also is vanity. Surely oppression makes the wise foolish, and a bribe corrupts the heart. Better is the end of a thing than its beginning. The patient in spirit are better than the proud in spirit. Do not be quick to anger, for anger lodges in the bosom of fools. Do not say, why were the former days better than these? For it is not from wisdom that you ask this. Wisdom is as good as an inheritance. What advantage to those who see the sun? For the protection of wisdom is like the protection of money, and the advantage of knowledge is that wisdom gives life to the one who possesses it. Consider the work of God, who can make straight what he has made crooked. In the day of prosperity, be joyful, and in the day of adversity, consider God has made the one as well as the other, so that mortals may not find out anything that comes after them. Verse 15, in my vain life I have seen everything. There are the righteous people who perish in their righteousness, and there are the wicked people that prolong their life in their evil doing. Do not be too righteous, and do not act too wise. Why should you destroy yourself? Verse 17, do not be too wicked, and do not be a fool. Why should you die before your time? It is good that you should take hold of the one without letting go of the other. For the one who fears God shall succeed with both. Wisdom gives strength to the wise more than 10 rulers who are in a city. Surely there is no one on earth so righteous as to do good without ever sinning. Do not give heed to everything that people say, or you may hear your servant cursing you. Your heart knows that many times you have cursed others. All this I have tested by wisdom. I have said, I will be wise, but it is far from me. That which is far off and deep, very deep. Who can find it out? I turn my mind to know and to search out and to seek wisdom, the sum of things, and to know what wickedness and folly is, so that foolishness is madness. I found more bitter than death the woman who is a trap, whose heart is nets, whose hands are fetters. One who pleases God escapes her, but the sinner is taken by her. See, this is what I found, says the teacher, adding one thing to another to find the sum, which my mind has sought repeatedly, but I have not found. One man among 1,000 I found, but a woman among these I have not found. See, this alone I found, that God made human beings straightforward, but they have devised many schemes. Wow. That's a lot of information we're taking in today. So again, I apologize for the swiftness, but there's just a lot to cover. I have 4 pages of notes. Okay, so we're gonna start off by just breaking down verses 1 through 14. They kind of all go together. So I'm just gonna read them as we go along. And I'm actually going to, as we discuss them, I'll read them now, because if I read all 14 right now, it kind of won't make sense and we'll lose track that way. So verse 1, a good name is better than precious ointment, in the day of death than the day of birth. So lasting reputation is better than the fleeting pleasures. And the ointments, they're talking about like perfumes. Those are fleeting pleasures. So perfume and those ointments, they might smell nice. They're a nice pleasure in the moment. It's nice to smell, it's nice to have, but it doesn't last but a few hours or a full day at most. But your character, you'll want that to last forever. And your character, if you have a good, your good nature is superior to fleeting pleasures. And the completion of life you want, when your life comes to an end, you want to have that satisfaction of doing all that you could and being the person that God made you be. Completion of life is also fulfilling your purpose in which God has created for you. And you want your good name to last forever for generations to come. Comparing this to the beginning of someone's life, when you start your life, you haven't done anything and you have a whole lot to conquer. So that's why he's saying it's better to have completed your life than to just start, because when you're just starting out, you've done nothing. Whereas when you die, you've done all you could, and hopefully that was everything that was in God's will. Verse 2, it is better to go to the house of mourning than to go to the house of feasting, for this is the end of everyone, and the living will lay it to heart. So this is talking about like funerals. So going to the house of mourning, better than going to like a nice dinner. So basically, like funerals, they offer like perspectives for people. So when you go to a funeral, it offers you opportunity to gain in wisdom. It offers you to like reflect on your own life. Like picture somebody who has died tragically, right? Someone that you know, or maybe even someone you don't know well. You go to their funeral and you realize that they didn't get to do whatever they were meant to do. And so that gives you perspective. Like it causes you to look at your own life and see, hey, am I doing the things that I need to be doing to grow, to become the person that God has created me to be? Am I living out the perfect will, all of his purposes for my life? So it causes you to reflect, which is, it's a beautiful thing. And the thing is mortality is just, it's real. When you're faced head on with it, it's real. It is definitely better than going to a feast. Verse 3, sorrow is better than laughter, for by sadness of countenance the heart is made glad. So basically he's saying that sorrow is better than laughter because you can learn from sorrow. Laughter is nice, laughter provides relief, but in the end, it is fleeting. And yes, we want to laugh. That's one of the great pleasures in life the Lord has blessed us with, is to laugh. But in sorrow, you also have opportunities to grow and gain wisdom. That's going to be a theme in this section, is, the things, he's not saying that, it's not right to laugh at all, ever. He's saying that it's better to, have those deep moments of sorrow when you can truly connect with God, and it offers you a chance to bond with God, to get to know him, so that he can offer you the wisdom that you need to prolong your life. Whereas if you just focus on the good times and focusing on laughter, you're not going to get very far, because it only provides immediate relief. Sorrow is the better teacher over laughter. Laughter is nice. Laughter provides comfort. Both are great medicines to the heart, by the way. But with sorrow comes development. Verse 4, the heart of the wise is in the house of mourning, but the heart of fools is in the house of mirth. So basically this is saying that wise people focus more on serious matters like death and suffering. Those are what's going to grow us and mold us to be the person that God created us to be. Whereas fools focus on temporary pleasures. Now again, temporary pleasures are a gift from God. He wants us to enjoy them. That's why one of the reasons why we're here. But it is better to reflect on times of mourning and take life serious and really truly get down to the root of why you're here, figuring out your purpose for life and figuring out how God wants you to live your life. Finding things in life that are profound, seeking them out, and seeking out wisdom so that you can glorify God. God's glory is why I'm here. I like things that offer me temporary relief, but not over my relationship with God. I want to bring him glory. I don't want to just chase fleeting things that are temporary. Verses 5 and 6 go together. So it is better to hear the rebuke of the wise than to hear the song of fools. For like the crackling of the thorns under a pot, so is the laughter of fools. This is also vanity. So taking in constructive criticism is better than foolishness. And I put here that the crackling of thorns under pots creates noise and it doesn't provide a lasting substance, whereas wisdom does. And wisdom comes from discipline and guidance, and songs of fools represent, false comfort, things that bring you either temporary relief or like false idols or false comfort, things that offer comfort but in the end don't bring it to you. A wise person's rebuke leads to growth. Verse 7. Surely oppression makes the wise foolish, but a bribe corrupts the heart. So basically, unfair treatment can cause distress and cause a wise person to act out. So whatever type of pressure you're under, don't think too highly of yourself. Don't think, hey, like I'll never, if my boss comes at me, I'll never get upset. No, just under the right circumstance, you never know what might happen. And so you have to be careful in those moments, because at the end of the day, we do have these fleshly bodies. Whether we want to act out or not, we're still tempted by these things that live in our flesh. And yes, bribes do corrupt the heart. Offering and accepting things for the wrong motive, never correct. If I want to get ahead, I'm not going to bribe somebody to do something for me so I can get ahead. No. We got to trust God here. We can't take control by accepting or offering bribes to others or from others. Verse 8. Better is the end of a thing than the beginning. The patient in spirit are better than the proud of the spirit. And basically, patience offers perseverance and can lead to finishing things that you start. There are too many people in this life that like to start things. I know it's funny, I was just talking about this to someone yesterday. People love to start things, but they just give up in the middle of them because they either have a prideful spirit and they think that they're too good to finish it, or they're just like, they're over it and you can't produce anything if you give up. So it's always better to finish things than to start them, because like I said, there's always excitement in the beginning, but the excitement at the end of something that you finish is far greater. You have purpose, you have lasting satisfaction, and you glorify God, to be honest, because if you start something, that's cool and all, that's great, but if you don't bring it to completion, you're not bringing any glory to God. Verse 9. Do not be quick to anger, for anger lodges in the bosom of fools. This is pretty much self-explanatory. It says a number of times in the Bible to be slow to anger, because anger is like a fire, and it just, once that flame is ignited, if you don't control it, it can just burn. It's like a forest blaze. It's like the words that you say, your thoughts and actions, they spring forth and they catch the trees in the forest, they catch them to fire, and before you know it, the whole forest is burned down, because that's what anger does. That's anger's job, is to get out of control. So you have to tame that anger. Verse 10. Do not say, why were the former days better than these? For it is not from wisdom that you ask. It's not good to focus too much on the past. If you're going through a rocky patch right now, a rough season, that's fine. You need to rejoice in that, and I'm kind of working on that myself. There are things in my past, let's just use my life, there are things in my past that I really enjoyed and things that I miss, but it's not so bad that I want to say, hey, my life's never going to get better, and I want to go back to those times because I can't ever see anything going better, and everything in my life just sucks right now. So God always has something waiting for you. It's better to trust him and wait on him, because his blessings, when they come to you, are going to be so much better than you dwelling in the past. It's not wrong to think back to the past and remember those times, both good and bad. Remembering the good times, That's always good, and remembering the bad sometimes not so much, but you can remember them and look at how far you've come, how far God has brought you from those things. But you always have to have something to look forward to in life. Don't say that my glory days are behind me, because that's not true. God always has something waiting for you. Verse 11, wisdom is as good as an inheritance, an advantage to those who see the sun. Wisdom is valuable in its own, and material possessions, while they are valuable, they're not as valuable as wisdom, and wisdom is necessary to have any type of material possession. Let's just use a car for example. A car is nice, a car is great. You know, when you get a new car, you'll have that happiness for like maybe 2 weeks, and then you'll get your first car payment, and then all of that will, you know, sort of fade away. It's like a new shiny thing that your brand new car won't have that new car smell anymore. And so you have to have the wisdom to have a car, because if you don't learn to be grateful for it, let's say you got a new car and it takes you 4 years to pay it off. When you're in year 3, you're probably not going to be as happy as, you know, the first couple of weeks when you got it, but you still got to be grateful for it. You know, God has given you that car as a gift, and if you take it for granted, then you're not going to enjoy or appreciate any other gifts that God has in store for you. So always focus on the wisdom aspect, and wisdom allows you to take care of things. Wisdom says, I have this car, and you know, we're in year 3, I may not want it anymore, but this is what I have right now, so I'm gonna take care of it until God says that I can get a new car. That's wisdom for you. All right, moving on to verse 12. For the protection of wisdom is like the protection of money, and the advantage of knowledge is that wisdom gives life to the one who possesses it. And the Amplified Version for verse 12 says, for wisdom is a protection, even as money is a protection. But the excellent advantage of knowledge is that wisdom shields and preserves the lives of its possessors. Wow. So obviously, wisdom is better than money. You know, both provide protection, but obviously wisdom is the one that's going to really take care of you. As we discussed in previous chapters, money is fleeting and there's no security in it, even if you think there is. You know, wisdom always has the advantage over money. It preserves and gives life to you, and we always want to seek out more wisdom, because wisdom is going to take care of us surely more than money. Wisdom is long-lasting and money is fleeting. Verse 13, consider the work of God, who can make straight what he has made crooked. Well, that's just signifying that God is sovereign, and he is. And everything is controlled by God, and everything is under his divine purpose. And we're not going to understand anything because we're limited. You know, Proverbs 3:5-6, trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make straight your paths. We're not going to understand everything, so it's useless to try. You know, we need to work on being humble before God. We need to really know. When you get to your point in your relationship with the Lord where you're so humble before him that you're just fearing him in awe, reverence for his good name, it's beautiful, because you'll stop at nothing to live for him. Verse 14, in the day of prosperity, be joyful. In the day of adversity, consider God has made one as well as the other, so that mortals may not find out anything that comes after them. Basically, keep a balanced perspective in good things and bad things. We should all have something to be grateful for. Bottom line, no matter who you are and what's going on in your life, be grateful for something, because you have something to be grateful for. And I just want to notate real quick, no matter how bad you have it, there is someone on earth that has it worse. Not to take away anything that's going on in your life, but it's the truth. Verses 15 and 16. In my vain life I have seen everything. There are righteous people who perish in their righteousness, and there are wicked people who prolong in their life in their evil doing. Do not be too righteous, and do not act too wise. Why should you destroy yourself? So basically here it's saying, don't be self-righteous, right? We don't want to be self-righteous. We trust God in everything, and true, again, like I said a minute ago, true wisdom comes from fearing God. God will give you the wisdom if you know your place and you know God's place. Imbalance will always lead you to ruin, no matter what. There can't be too much of anything or too little of anything in your life. You have to be centered. You have to be balanced. Otherwise, the enemy is going to come for you. You can be darn sure of that one. God will give you the wisdom. Don't worry about where it's going to come from. Don't go to try to look for it yourself, because if you try to go out and look for wisdom, you're going to unintentionally find it in the wrong places. Like I said unintentionally because your heart's in the right place. But if you're not going to God to find wisdom, you're already making a mistake there. Verses 17 and 18, do not be too wicked and do not be a fool. Why should you die before your time? It is good that you should take hold of the one without letting go of the other. For the one who fears God shall succeed with both. Do not lose sight of your responsibilities, because they are yours. They are your responsibilities. Fear God, and He'll help you navigate the extremities. Verse 19, wisdom gives strength to the wise more than 10 rulers who are in his city. So, wisdom surpasses any type of earthly power, and it provides lasting security. Like we talked about earlier about wisdom and money. Wisdom is always going to beat out whatever it is. Money, earthly power, earthly pursuits. Wisdom is always going to beat anything out. It beats out any earthly power, any earthly authorities. It has no chance, because wisdom comes from God. And yes, power and authority come from God too, but here we humans are limited, whereas God is not. God's wisdom is unlimited. Power and authority here on earth is limited. Verse 20, surely there is no one on earth so righteous as to do good without ever sinning. Humans are imperfect. We're sinners. Even when we don't want to be, we're sinners. We all fall short of the glory of God. That's just all there is to it. Even if you don't want to, it's just our fallen nature. And humility, as I talked about earlier, is so important. We all should be humble before God. Humility is so important. We have all sinned, no matter who you are. So don't think too highly of yourself, and don't judge others. Verses 21 and 22. Do not give heed to everything that people say, or you might hear your servant cursing you. Your heart knows that many times you have cursed others. Now that hit me. Oftentimes we want to go straight to judgment. We want to, focus on and make comments about other people when really we don't know their heart. So we shouldn't be saying anything. And as Jesus talked about in the Bible, look at the log in your own eye before you look at your, what's going on with your brothers. It's also important to not focus on every negative comment that comes your way, because if you get bent out of shape over negative commentary that's coming your way, and that's all you think about, it's going to eat you alive. Think about, again, as I said, heart posture. You don't know what people are going through. There's a very good chance, like 100% chance, that you've said something negative about somebody else in your lifetime. I know I have, believe me. And I'm glad that the Lord has pruned me in that area, because again, you never know what's going on with people. You don't know why they say what they say, they do what they do. Leave that up to God. We're not here to be the judge. That's why it's so important to avoid unnecessary criticism and avoid gossip, because again, it can bring you to ruin, and we don't want that, and God surely doesn't want that. Verse 23 and 24. All this I have tested by wisdom. I said, I will be wise, but it is far from me. That which is far off and deep, very deep. Who can find it out? So wisdom is far from us because, again, as I said, it's too far out of our reach to attain. It comes from God. It doesn't come from us. So there's no way that, we can try to attain it. We can't. It's beyond us. Verses 23 and 24 in the Amplified Bible says, I have tested all this with wisdom. I have said, I will be wise independently of God. But true wisdom was far from me. Trying to get wisdom without God, I see. Verse 24. Whatever has been is far off, deeply remote, and exceedingly mysterious. Who can discover it? For it is beyond the grasp of man. Boom. No further words needed. Trust God. It doesn't come from us. Verses 25 and 26. I turn my mind to know and to search out and to seek wisdom, the sum of things, and to know that wickedness is folly and that foolishness is madness. I found more bitter than death the woman who is a trap, whose heart is nets, whose hands are fetters. One who pleases God escapes her, but the sinner is taken by her. So guard your hearts and seek wisdom. That is the main thing that I got from those scriptures. Don't fall victim to wicked schemes, because temptation comes upon you. If you are a living human being, breathing, and your heart is still beating, you will be tempted at some point in your life. And yes, by sinful things, by wicked things, by evil things. Just guard your heart. That's why having a relationship with the Lord is top tier. It's very important. All right, bringing this to a close. And I hope that I haven't been going too fast for you guys. Again, so much to unpack in chapter 7, and I already feel that the Lord has provided me with enough wisdom, and I pray that He's provided you guys with enough as well. So let's close this out. Verses 27 to 29. See, this is what I found, says the teacher, adding one thing to another to find the sum, which my mind has sought repeatedly, but I have not found. One man among 1,000 I found, but a woman among all these I have not found. See, this alone I found, that God made human beings straightforward, but they have devised many schemes. God created us to be upright and straightforward, and He created us to need Him, to want to obey Him, to be holy, to be pure. And sin changed all that. And it's humanity who made the decision to stray away from God, to depart from His ways, because we cared more about what we wanted instead of what God wanted. And humanity has been cursed ever since. And schemes and abandoning our upright nature it brings sorrow to God. It brings sorrow to my heart too, but this is something that I'm working on in this season of my life with the Lord. I am a spiritual being who is inside of a fleshly body, and although I do not want to sin, sometimes my flesh just seems to beat out what my spirit wants. And knowing that we have God's grace is just a beautiful thing. And so we can't comprehend that. We can't comprehend what Jesus did for us, how He died on the cross. We can't, otherwise we would never sin again. And so that's why it's so important on your walk, your Christian walk, to have your relationship with the Lord. And it's important to do life with the Lord. Don't just let all of your mistakes go unscathed. Pray, repent, and just keep putting one foot in front of the other. The Lord will guide you. The Lord will change you. The Lord is just so perfect, you guys. We can't know it. So just keep following Him. Follow your heart. Follow the Lord. He will take care of you. He'll give you wisdom. Wisdom comes also from life experiences. So everything that we've all been through, we should be learning from our mistakes. We should be learning from our missteps. That's how we step further into our purposes, and to be in the will of God is to learn from our mistakes and gain wisdom. That also allows us to help other people who are struggling with things that we're either going through or have gone through in the past. Wisdom also gained through life's experiences also reveals the brokenness of humanity due to sin. So I'm going to close this off by saying, this kind of warmed my heart when I finished off the study. My last note that I put here is, there is hope for God's purpose in humanity. That really warms my heart, and it doesn't seem like that, especially in the physical in today's world. Everything just seems so loud and boisterous and evil and messy. And if you truly believe, like I believe in my heart, that God is truly sovereign, He is in control, and wisdom belongs to Him, and that he wants you to stay in his perfect will, and also believing in the best in other people, even though sometimes that's hard. Just keep putting one foot in front of the other. This is a journey, not a destination. We will not have arrived until the Lord takes us home. So don't stress, you've got this. Thank you for joining me in Ecclesiastes 7. And Lord willing, I will see you next week for Ecclesiastes 8. Have a wonderful, beautiful, humble week.